Welcome to another live edition of Making You a Bartending Pro. My name is Jason. Happy May 21st, 2019. How you doing? What are you up to? What's been going on? How are you? How was your week? Get a job? Lose a job? See anything crazy in a bar you want to talk about? Leo Garcia, what's up? Alan Zamora, yo. So, we might be without Shake tonight. I think he's having technical difficulties. So, it may just be me, but that's all good. We've done it before. Done it in the past. We'll do it again. Cheers, everybody. So, the way it goes with these live streams, it's just a open format live Q&A. There is no agenda. We kind of just talk about whatever you want to talk about. Usually it's bartending, although it doesn't have to be. Let's go a little something like that. Little guru style. So anyway, yeah, fire it up. Shoot off some questions. Nothing new in my world up here, up in the Northwest. It's trying to be wintertime again. So it's been cold and rainy and snowing in the mountains a little bit. So it was 80 degrees a week and a half ago. And now it's wintertime again. And then it's going to be 80 degrees again next week. So the weather can't figure out what the hell it wants to do. Topher 84. Where is that supposed to be? B to the F84. Something like that. Thanks for all the videos. Made me a better bartender. Right on. Congratulations. I'm glad these are helping. That's why I do these, just for fun. And to contribute to the betterment of my fellow mankind. Eric C. Yo, what up? What's going on? Grizz K. What's the craziest bar deal promo you've ever seen? Good, bad, most creative. Got a feeling you're trying to come up with a bar promo deal, Grizz. Just a hunch. Jay Johnson, most people in the industry tell me that certificate is worth nothing and experience is what every place wants. Do you agree? Yes, generally. Depends on what you're talking about, Jay, for what style of bar. But most of the fun bars that most of us want to work at that are busy and happening, and that's where you're making money and is exciting to work at, usually, yeah, you're going to need to have some sort of experience to work at places like that. And don't worry, Grizz K, I'm going to get back to your question in a second. But Jay, and then the next question is, well, how do you get experience? Well, you either lie on your resume, you learn or you get to know the names of many managers and owners that can give you a shot when you don't have experience because they're your friend and they know you to a certain extent. Or you start in other positions and you move up and you get promoted into a bartending position, and then you're working and then you can get some real experience. So yeah, certificates, especially in the United States of America, are basically worthless. There are some states it's confusing, like Mississippi and Wisconsin. No, is it Mississippi? I know Wisconsin, Nevada has their own version. I want to say Maine, maybe? There's a couple of states. I know Wisconsin's like the main one, where they have a certificate requirement for all servers of alcohol and all bartenders. And this gets confusing because some places will call it a bartending certificate. So really it's just a responsible serving certificate, how to, check IDs, what is a proper form of ID, all that kind of good stuff. But it doesn't actually go into any of the nuts and bolts of bartending, like cocktail recipes or pouring, or some of them are kind of combined and they do a combo of both, but that's pretty rare. And most places, yes, certificate is looked at as basically worthless. It doesn't equate to experience. So, but it's good. I used to like to see it when I was a bartender and bar manager when we were hiring people. We didn't look at that as experience, but we looked at it as initiative that you have taken to try to educate yourself about a profession that you're trying to get into, which is a good thing. So, take it for what it's worth, but there you go. So, Alan Zamora, what up? Eric C. Leo, Garcia. Let's jump back up to Grizz K. So what's the craziest bar deal promo you've ever seen? Good, bad, most creative? Man, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of creative ones, right? I was always on the bar side, so I never had to come up with them. Most people just want free shit, free drinks, free samples, and hot chicks walking around. That's always a good strategy, but it is, quite trite and played out maybe. Although I guess you can never say that a beautiful woman has ever played out. So, but I do know that people are always looking for free shit. So if you're giving out free samples or have free whatever the fuck, people will always drink free stuff. How you get creative, that kind of comes down to the brand or company or liquor, whatever, that is trying to promote their stuff. You're probably talking about from a bar specifically, as like maybe owners or manager or something like this. That, again, it's the same thing. I mean, it comes down to understanding your customers that are coming in the door on a regular basis, or the type of customer that you want to get to come in the door on a regular basis. What are they normally attracted to, right? If you have a clientele, let's say you're trying to target people that really like wine for whatever reason, just for an example. Let's say you really are trying to open, or maybe you're running a nice fine dining place and you have a ton of wine that you have on offer that you want to try to get people in there for. You wouldn't want to run deals with a bunch of like really cheap well drinks, right? You need to give them deals on the shit that they come there for. You want to offer a wide variety of wine. You want to make sure that your staff is very educated about wine, and you want to do, deals around that wine. Alcohol, I won't say alcoholics, but people that drink a lot always want a deal. So when in doubt, just give them a deal and it'll work pretty good. But yeah, I mean, it would behoove you to think about the type of person that you want to get into the bar and why, and what would they respond to best to. Okay, so we'll leave that one at that. Jay, no, you replied down here. Why did this block this? That's really weird. Gotcha. Currently leaving a classy cocktail type place as a bar back because they don't really want to promote me until I have experience elsewhere. So I got a job as a bartender, beer, wine pouring. Basics of marketing. We want you to go get another job to get experience and then come back here and work. Seems like a bonehead maneuver by the owners and managers of understanding that they have somebody right in front of them that they can mold to their own preference. I know a lot of bars that will only hire people with just a little bit of experience, so they're not complete newbies, but they won't hire anybody that has over like 5 years of experience, because those types kind of get set in their ways and how they're working, and they want somebody that's a little bit newer to the industry so they can mold them to the way they like it. So this type of situation is just like that. It's like you have someone who's educating themselves about the industry, wants to move up, is motivated to do so, and they're telling you to go get a job somewhere else. Sound like your owners don't get it. But, I don't know. Hard to say. In that case, go find something somewhere else and look for another gig, Jay. All right, let's jump back up here because I'm all over the place with these questions. Let's keep them in order. How are y'all? Glad y'all could come tune in. Thank you for showing up. Shake is on technical difficulty leave, so he might be watching, but I don't know if he can get in here. So I'll do my best to grab some videos and stuff when you guys need them. So what do we got here next? Alan Zamora, I have an interview tomorrow for my dream job. I've done my research well, so confidence levels are high. Still wanted to ask, what are some usual questions they might ask considering I have no experience? Watched your 4-4 video like 10 times, by the way. Thanks for that. Awesome. Perfect, Alan. Well, going through that stuff, I mean, that's my best stuff that I got for the, you know, how to get a job type stuff. And for those of you that might be wondering, like, what is he talking about? Let me grab the playlist here. That's like how to get a job with no experience playlist that I have. And my internet is really lagging. Can't fucking figure it out, interwebs. Okay, so we have this, how to become a bartender. How to become a bartender playlist. And I'm gonna grab this right here. And it starts with the 4-part mini series of how to become a bartender with no experience. So here is that playlist right there for anyone who's curious about that, of what Alan is talking about. Okay, so Alan, the best thing you can do is what you've done. You've done your research, you've done your homework about the place. You're ready with all the stuff that I have in those videos about how to prepare yourself. You're pretty much good to go, man. There's not a whole lot that I can do to prepare you beyond that, because I don't know the establishment, the people that are going to be interviewing you. I don't know what type of stuff they're looking for, which I know that's not a lot of help, and I apologize. But if you're doing all the stuff that's in those videos that you said, you're going to be very well prepared, you know, as well as one could be expected. Just tell them, you know, when they ask you about the experience things, like, look, I know I don't have a lot of experience, but give me a chance. I promise you won't be disappointed. You know, I really want to do this, and you know, I'm willing to do whatever it will take to make this happen. Now, you got to be careful. You don't want to be desperate, right? You don't want to sound desperate. You just want to sound like you're willing to, you know, do what you need to do in order to get the opportunity, and let them see that you would be a smart choice if they would be willing to give you a job. So, some usual questions, you know, just, I'd say maybe try to fudge your experience a little bit. It's like, yeah, I worked a bunch of private parties for my friends. That's what kind of got me interested in this, so that they have maybe an idea that, I don't know, you know, it's kind of hard without just straight out blatantly lying about shit. You kind of don't really know until you start have the questions coming at you. And just stand your ground. Let them know that you understand that this is about a business, and that you are an important piece and front to the business, and that the whole point of this is to create unique customer experiences so that people will come back, so that we can create repeat business for the establishment. Right, so that's really what we're trying to do. This isn't about how many drinks we know, or how much money we can make. It's about how we fit into a larger business. A bar is not just about the bartenders. A bar is a whole business, and so if you can understand how the whole thing works, which is what I talk about in some of those videos, and that we are basically a front man on the business, and that we are the first people that people see when they come in, and that we understand that it's about their experience and creating fun, good times and facilitating a good time, then they'll be pretty stoked. All right, Eric C. Jason, what is the deal with women and bartenders? Is it just a myth that women throw themselves at bartenders, or is there some truth to that? There are definitely some strange, there's like some sort of a strange allure to a bartender. And it's funny because after I've done it for a really long time and knowing the dysfunction of most bars and most bartenders, I don't get it really, but there is something, it's kind of like a position of authority, but instead of being like a teacher or like a cop, you're this dude that's got a bunch of booze that you're trying to get people hammered and having a good time or whatever, you know? So it's that sort of authoritarian position, but it's for a really fun cause. So I think that combined with the, stereotyping in hiring that happens in this industry that's completely illegal but happens all the time, where places will tend to hire attractive people if they have a choice. If they have two identical candidates and this one's easy on the eyes and this one's not as much, then they're going to pick this one. I think that it just, that's just kind of my best bet, my best guess. People are just naturally have their defenses down when they're talking to bartenders. So people will tell you some shit that they don't even tell their significant others or their best friends or their coworkers. They'll confide in us in crazy ways. And so there's this kind of like, I don't know, who knows who decided, or what about human psyche just goes like, oh, this dude, you can tell him anything, it's all good. It'll never get out and it won't be used against him, in a bad way, because they're going to try to get in my pants. But there's definitely, as a bartender, more opportunity for your social life to expand than any other job that I've had, for sure. So I'll just say that. They aren't necessarily throwing themselves. That's not true. That's definitely way, sort of hyperbolization of the idea that people are just throwing themselves. That's not exactly the way it goes, but you definitely just, you have a lot of interaction with a lot of people, and maybe it's just kind of a numbers game. I have no idea. Anyway, get in there, and you'll, if you start bartending, Eric, you'll definitely have more opportunities to go on dates or improve your social interactions, I would say. All right, Leo Garcia. It's nice to meet you. Here, hold on a sec, guys. This damn door, I can hear it echoing into the other room, and it's bothering me. Nice to meet you. I followed you since last year. My first chat with you. I'm also a bartender right on, Leo. Jay Johnson, gotcha. Okay, we already hit that one. Anarcho autism. Remember, if you guys have a question, hang tight. I will get to it. Sorry on some of these long-winded answers. I will try to pick up the pace a little bit here. Is it common for Latin rums to be aged in American whiskey barrels? I'm asking because I got Bruegel from a friend recently. I don't know much about rum. I don't know either, man. Latin rums to be aged in American whiskey barrels. I know American whiskey barrels are sent all over the world for all kinds of shit to get aged. From wines to scotches to whiskeys to rum, apparently. Bourbons, all sorts of shit all over the place. So I don't know if it's common, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is normal. Would probably give it an interesting flavor. I'd be interested in trying that. All right, Jay, good to see you later, buddy. Let's see. Alan Zamora, you're very welcome. All about the cocktail. What up, dude? Just checking in. Eric C. I used to work at a bar as a server, and this bartender was just very unattractive, but he would be slaying with these attractive women at the bar. Left me scratching my head on many nights. Thanks, dude. So, this like auto hold on comments is definitely being, Google must have updated something in their algorithms, because it's trying to check a lot of these, scrub for bad words, and there's not any bad words in there. So there's something, Eric, about, there's a difference between men and women. And this is just my own personal theory, right? Guys are very visual first. So like our first instinct on attractive, what's attractive to us on, a physical level from dudes seems to be like physical. Like it's first and foremost like, ooh, that she's hot, he's hot, whatever you're into, it's hot. Women are the same thing, but immediately after that, there's not as much, right? So the girls I've talked to, being a married man, this is just my own theory of coming up with this. Ladies are not quite as much, and there's something more about the confidence of a man that will steamroll over any sort of physical beauty. And so, meaning that, like, I've known guys that you'd put them side by side. This dude literally was like a Brad Pitt type, you know, super handsome dude, fucking 6-pack abs, ripped, you know, beautiful hair, whatever. And there's this dude that I knew over here, who was a good friend of mine and had like kind of greasy hair and bad skin and like not a good looking dude. Wasn't fat, but he definitely wasn't like skinny. And the pretty boy had whatever issues and just was super insecure and needy and always kind of struggled with women. Basically just got by on getting women on his looks, which you would think would be a lot, but it wasn't that often. And then my other fugly buddy, who's a good friend of mine, would just had this very much like fuck it nonchalant attitude about his interactions with his female counterparts, and he absolutely slayed it. So, which is a derogatory term, we shouldn't say that. He had a very high success rate in his dating world. So what that says to me is that in most women, right, and this is not supposed to be stereotypical or degrading to anyone, just own, you know, anecdotal, what I've seen happen. And my personal assumptions coming to is that women are more attracted to confidence, men are attracted to looks. So this dude that you're talking about, Eric, that works at a bar, I guarantee you he's just kind of an outgoing, laid-back, fuck it kind of a guy. I doubt he's really kind of shy, withdrawn, tentative, not confident guy. So there's that is the underlying current. And then bartenders, when you work with, you know, once you've worked in this industry for a little while, you start to just get used to talking to people, and it's just a normal thing. And so you just have this normal, natural delivery and this normal, natural ability to talk to anybody that is a little bit different than most normal people. And so it kind of comes across as super confident, or maybe it just is a learned confidence. And so I think that is something that has to do with that as well, Eric. So there you go. That's my 2 cents on it. Anarcho autism. So there's kind of like a default to age shit in. That's pretty cool, man. Talk to you. Don't get your there's a default for stuff to age in. Yeah, there's certain types and categories that have standards, but nowadays everybody's just getting crazy. They're doing all kinds of weird shit. I Spy Magic, 20-year-old bartender here from Ontario, Canada. I heard the same theory from many people and never believed it, but hearing it from you makes me believe it. Like you just for sure. But that's hard work because you can't fake that. You kind of, Eric, you gotta own it. It really comes down to just like being like, fuck it. And like not being afraid to crash and burn. Now you want to be a gentleman, you want to be respectful. But the guys that I've known that have had the most success in their dating worlds were very just like confident, kind of like whatever, don't care. I'll say whatever to whoever in a respectful way. And it just seems to come off like crazy. So anyway, I Spy Magic, 20-year bartender here from Ontario, Canada. Welcome. I Spy Magic, now learning that bartending is not about recipes, but all on customer service. There you go. Make sure to greet the customer right away, for instance, and remembering drink orders as well. Yep, 100%. This is not about what a lot of bartending schools sell us and that it's about how many drinks you know. No, this is customer service, and it's about facilitating a fun, unique experience for the customer, because that's why they're there. Well, they're not even, they're there to get good service, but they're not even there for, they could be there for us, but they're generally there for their own reasons. They're out with some friends or some coworkers or a date, they're there for social reasons most of the time. And so us just being able to make sure that that is a fun interaction for them. And that's not even on us. That just means making sure that they're taken care of, and, you know, making sure that they're cool. It's basically just checking in on people. It's adult babysitting. You sit down, hey, how you doing? When I get you started on something. If you're busy, get around to everybody in a timely manner. If it's a little bit slower, then every so often pop by. It's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you up to? And just strike conversations with people. But yeah, a lot of the that, and I think, you know, I have the theory that it's not the fear that you guys have on being new bartenders. You think it's because you don't know drinks or something, but really it's just this like uneasy feeling of being in front of people and talking to strangers is really what this, in my opinion, is the source of the anxiety that you feel when you're a new bartender. It's like, oh, I don't know anything. I don't know how to do this. It's like, there's not a whole lot to do. This job is very simple. And it's, you know, I could teach somebody the basics of bartending in half an hour on their first day. There's not a lot to it. And so the rest of that uncomfortableness comes from, you know, you're worried about, it's like, well, what if it gets busy and I forget a drink? Doesn't matter. You make what you can, and then you ask them again, what am I forgetting? And then what if I don't know a drink? Most people don't know drinks anyway, so you don't really need to know a bunch of drinks. Know what's on your menu, and then know a couple of the basic main ones that you've heard of, and that's about it. You know, you don't need to know hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drinks as a brand new bartender. Now, as you get into this and you get deeper into your career, you'll know what you need to learn. You'll know what to focus on. You'll be able to figure out which way you want to go. But when you're first starting out on this stuff, it's very basic, very simple stuff. So there you go, I spy magic. Luke O'Brien, hey, do you recommend bartending school or learning from a bartender in the server's bar while I'm a banquet server at a wedding banquet mansion? Sweet. Always get in there and start slinging some booze at the mansion if you can. I'm okay with bartending schools if you're okay with the fact that you're just paying for practice, basically. What you learn from it and the certificate are going to be relatively unhelpful to you getting a job. The fact of practicing sort of helps just alleviate some stress and anxiety. Again, like I was just saying about that fear of getting in there and doing it. But that won't completely go away until you start working and you realize that, like, this isn't that hard. This is not a big deal. So the thing that I want to always reiterate about bartending is very simple. It's very, very simple. Very easy job. And it's mostly just being present with your customers and taking care of them. And that means not just knowing drinks. That means, you know, getting to them in a timely manner, making sure that their food is right if they ordered food, and just checking back every so often, not bugging them, but don't let them run out and have their glass be empty for 10 minutes before you go talk to them. So it's just kind of having a flow. But if you're scraping together the money for a bartending school, Luke, then don't do it. Save the money. You're better off buying a book on public speaking or going to a Toastmasters class to get used to speaking in front of people, because that would go a lot further. In fact, I'm thinking about changing the whole bartending blueprint, which is the website I have. Not changing the whole thing, but creating a new kind of course direction that goes into that stuff, that further expands on, this is not about drinks and memorization. This is about customer service. And so maybe having some stuff about public speaking. Who knows? I don't know how I could do that on the website, but that was just a thought in the moment. Anyway, okay, halfway through. Actually might cut this one short, so if you guys are there watching and you have a question, shoot that out. Remember to follow along in all the social media stuff at Bartending Pro on the YouTube and Instagram are the main ones. Facebook and Twitter, I'm not really on there, but make sure you follow all those ones as well. see. I spy magic. Describe the difference between lagers, ales, IPAs, stouts, and etc. Are you saying that that's what they asked you, or are you asking me? Most beer is an ale or a lager, and the difference is the type of yeast they use to ferment the beer. So it's an ale that's a top fermenting yeast and ferments at room temps. Lagers are bottom fermenting yeasts that ferment in cool temps. And everything in between is basically one of those. And there's different ways and magic shit that they put in there. And there's different hops and barley ratios. And it's a whole mad science tree. But the basic differences between all beers, the way I understand them, right, the way that my beer master friend told me, is all beers are either ales or lagers for the most part. And the difference between those is the type of yeast and the environment in which they ferment. And so the rest of it just comes down to flavoring, jazz, and magic that your brewmasters will do. But that, again, that's not stuff that people are going to really drill you on unless you work at a brewery or like a tap house or something. In which case, you should definitely, read a book or watch a few videos about all that kind of shit to know the nuanced differences of beer. Jacob Dennett, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's what we're going to say. And what would you recommend how to deal with drunk people? I've known a few bartenders complain about drunk people as number one complaint. There's definitely a skill to cutting people off. So let me go back here, Jacob, and to my videos and see if I can find the one about cutting people off and dealing with rude customers. So I have the how to cut people off video. So let me get this one. Okay, Jacob, so here is the one about how to cut people off. And I'll kind of come back and expand on this, but I just wanted to put these links in here. And then the other one was how to deal with rude customers. So let me put this in here, how to handle rude customers. Let me grab this one. Okay, Jacob, so here's the one about rude customers. And the thing with rude customers is you just gotta play cool. The more calm we can be when they're freaking out, the more crazy they're gonna look. Sometimes people are just having a shitty day and they're taking it out on us and it has nothing to do with us, so we just gotta not take it personally. With cutting people off, the easiest way that I've found to do it is you can see it coming most of the time. Sometimes people are, pill popping and then drinking and it'll come on all of a sudden. That's usually a telltale sign of if you're on opiates and painkillers, is if you went from sober to like slurring drunk in one drink is almost always like an opiate reaction type of thing happening. Which, by the way, your bartender, if he knows you well and if they've been doing this for a long time, can almost always tell when you are on anything. I don't even know people, and I could, before I even met them, before they even had a word come out of their mouth, and it's like, you went too heavy on the drugs before you came in here, brother, because I can see it in your motherfucking face. So you are never fooling your bartender. So with people that you're going to cut them off, the easiest thing that I would do is give them a notice on the round before you cut them off. So you can usually see it coming, right? People are just like, this guy's on a tear. He's just pounding drinks and shots, and he's gone back to back to back pretty quick. So like, okay, the cutoff is going to be coming. And so what I will do is on the drink before I would cut them off, I would be like, all right, here you go, my man. It's the last one I can give you for a little while because I'm going to have to slow your roll. And usually people know. And if you need to, if you feel like the guys or girl is going to be a little bit weird about it, you can blame it on your manager. It's like, yeah, my manager told me that we got to kind of, take it easy. And this is the last one I can give you for a while. And most people know. And they're like, all right, cool. Because then they have a notice that they're going to be cut off, but they have their booze, so they're happy. So it's not a big deal. I hope that makes sense. But watch those videos. There you go, Jacob. Thomas Stewart, what up? Bartender on First Lady Chicago tour boats and Dow Chicago. I've watched these videos and they help me a lot. I didn't go to a school, just told them to throw me in. Doing fine. Thanks, bro. You are welcome, Thomas. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is easy stuff. Oh, not necessarily easy, but you don't need a bunch of formal training to do it. I was like Thomas. My first day when I walked in, I didn't know shit. I started bartending with no knowledge, no experience. I didn't know anything. And, you know, ended working my way up to working in some of the busiest places in my area, in all different types of bars, over 15 years. So you guys are way ahead of the game watching any of the videos that I put out. Alan Zamora, I almost forgot. Went to print my resume earlier today, and the guy at the shop gave me a discount because of my creativity on the resume. It really impressed him. One of your templates. My man, Alan. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I had those professionally designed. And that's a real thing. I mean, they look pretty basic. I probably could have done it, but I'm not a good designer. But if I was going to think about stuff, I probably would have thought about that. But yeah, I had a professional designer make those. So they work for sure. And just little old me passing those out. I haven't given them to too many people. So the chances are it's anytime you use that anywhere, it's going to be unique. And there's 6 different versions. So even if somebody does have one, there's chances of them using the same one are pretty low. I Spy Magic, what's your favorite beer and cocktail? Favorite cocktail is either a, fresh squeezed margarita. So from like fresh lime, lemon, orange juice, not the mix. Or an old fashioned, and then my favorite beers are just light lagers and pilsners, easy drinking stuff. Like your Modelo Specials, your Stellas, stuff like that. Luke O'Brien. All right, we might cut this one a little bit short, guys. So if you're watching, I'm gonna do last call for questions now. Give you a 10-minute warming. 10-minute warning. Cheers. This episode is brought to you by 10 Barrel Trail Beer. Nope, not really, but that's what I'm drinking. The last 10 Barrel, give me a call. Let's make something happen. Maybe I'll call those guys. They're in this town. Maybe work out a 10 Barrel sponsorship for a Bartending Pro show. Okay. Luke O'Brien, thanks for the advice. Appreciate it. Got a bartending book from a fellow bartender with drink recipes, etc. Just got to read and study it. Don't see. Okay, now here's what I'm gonna do, Luke. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you a short list of common drinks. Actually, you know what? Let me find it. It's in here. I think. Where did I put it? I have a list of common cocktails. If I can find where I put it on my desktop here. Let's see here. It will be. Where's the most common drink list? Here we go. So this does not by any means cover all of the cocktails, but I would say to start here with the stuff that you're going to learn about, Luke, and then look at the types of places that you want to work. And you might be like, I want to work anywhere, but start with the types of places that you would be your favorites. Go in, look at their menus, compare their menus. You're probably going to find that there's a lot of similarity in those drinks. Learn a couple of those drinks and then don't worry about the rest of it. You don't need to know a shitload of drinks because you could study. There's so many drinks and recipe books. There's literally hundreds or thousands of them. And there's a small range of 10 to 20 different style of drinks that you'll make at any specific bar on average that you're working at. Just my own numbers there. So out of those hundreds and thousands of recipes, what are the odds that you're going to pick the 10 to 20 that you're going to make on a regular basis in your bar that you end up working? The chances are pretty low. So that's why it's another reason it's just kind of pointless to study hundreds and hundreds of drinks. You're better off spending your time working on your public speaking and just having easy conversations with random people and learning a couple of these basics. You know, the Martini, the Manhattans, the Colin Sour Ricky family, Long Island's martinis, Mai Tai, some tropicals, mojitos, black, white Russian, Moscow mules, Cosmo, old fashioned, Bloody Mary beer, and wine knowledge. If you know those that's going to cover at least 50% of like your basic drinks at most bars, depending on where you're at, right? Or maybe not, but usually those are going to be pretty relevant. And then, I mean, outside of that, you know, it depends on where you're going to be working at. So there's no point in just studying all these drinks. More than anything, the most important thing, especially now if you're in North America, and especially if you're anywhere that has seasonal traffic from tourists, now is when you guys need to be going out and knocking on doors. Even if you're not ready, even if you're like, fuck, this is the first day I've ever started about being a bartender, ever thought about being a bartender, go start knocking on doors now. Because people are hiring now for summertime when it's busy. And actually they're almost done because usually the hiring happens in May. So you need to go start banging on doors now. More than studying drinks from the book, Luke. Go to the bartendingblueprint.com and download these resume templates. Here, let me get it for you. And print a couple of these suckers out and go drop them off to a bunch of places around town. Time way better spent than studying. Let's see here. Okay. So let me put this out here. So go to that one right there, Luke, and don't worry about studying drinks. Print out a bunch of resumes, and then go pound the pavement, buddy. All right. Oh, there you go, Daniel Russi. Can you add the link to your design resumes? There they are. Bam, bam. Perfect. Jacob Donat, you're welcome. Experience with customer service. Drunk people who are aggressive are some of the worst types of customers. They are the absolute worst. And unfortunately, it's something that you just deal with on a regular basis in this industry. It's one of the main reasons why I was not disappointed when I left this industry. Because those of you who may not know, I've technically retired from bartending, and I work in a different industry up in Oregon. But I'm going to keep running this channel for a while because I still have a lot of stuff that I want to get out to you guys. So I'm not going anywhere yet. Turn Snocko! What up, brother? What's cracking, son? No shake today. He is out with busted computer syndrome. Okay, look at Brian. You're welcome. I can feel I can do this. Can't thank you enough for the advice. Appreciate it. You are welcome, Luke. Of course you can do it. I'm telling you, this job and this industry is very simple. A lot of the people that I work with and have worked with in the past, I love them all, but they are very simple people. It's a very simple job. So anybody can do this. Absolutely anybody can do this. Okay, last call for questions, y'all. We're going to wrap it up a little bit early tonight. So if you're watching, throw out a question now. Otherwise, make sure to follow on all the social media stuff at Bartending Pro. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. YouTube and Instagram are the main ones. And yeah. So the reason I've been doing all these live streams a lot lately for the last few months is because I did change jobs. I left the bar that I was running down in San Diego. I took a job in digital media marketing back up in Oregon, which is where I'm from. And so I moved up here. I'm kind of in a part-time place. I'm actually going to move probably at the end of next month or within a few weeks to another place for a few months. And then I'm moving again, hopefully when, if I can convince the lady to relocate up here as well. So I haven't built my little bar set. It's not built right now. So that's why I'm not doing my regular videos and stuff. But there's a ton of stuff in there, plenty of stuff for you guys to dig into. Make sure you just go through all the playlists that I have. And I have them, organized in a way that makes sense. So let me put the link up to all the playlists here. So you should, guys, there you go. You should be able to click off of that. Nope. No, let's go back to this one. So yeah, these are all the different playlists that you can go through. So dive bartending drink recipes. Those are my old videos that have terrible sound and video quality. A lot of those are the recipes that I taught in the bartending school. And a lot of them are just super dirty, disrespectful versions of those old drinks. But they're kind of fun to go in and look at and talk shit about. And they are super simple versions of some of those drinks. So if you want really quick and easy party planning for like a lot of people style stuff, those are kind of good places to go look. Bartending school, that one's just like some testimonials from people that were at my school. Shooters and shots, live streams. The ones that are important that you guys should really look at is like the alcohol 101. Kind of goes into a little bit about what each of the alcohols are. The pro bartender interviews are fun because those are some of my friends that are bartenders and some of their stories about getting into the industry. There's only a couple of them in there, but those are ones I want to keep doing more of. And that was kind of a show track. I don't know what you want to call it. Just basically some playlist ideas that I wanted to do for this channel that I just didn't get a chance to because I was so busy all the time. But really, like the main ones that you guys should be looking at are like how to become a bartender, bartending 101, the working bartender. Those three really are key to kind of teaching you a lot of the nuts and bolts. And then there's some like drink recipe videos playlist as well. So make sure you guys check all those out. Those videos are the gems, the old ones. Those are funny. I'm so just awkward and uncomfortable and so full of myself. It's hilarious. Okay. Let's see here. Leaf Denise, do drink recipes slightly change depending on the bar? Yes, they do. Every single bar, well, not every single bar, but you can take a recipe and you can tweak it and change it, make it your own. That's why it's funny when people get really uptight about being true to the original recipe. A lot of these recipes, if you dig into them and really do the research on where they really came from, most of the time, nobody really fucking knows. So nobody really knows what the original real recipe is for a lot of drinks anyway. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't do your homework and try to figure that out on your own if you're interested in it, but it changes from bar to bar all the time. So yes, they definitely do. A Leaf, Spy Magic. How do you make a wine spritzer? Wine glass, ice, white wine, soda water, bang. Or if they want it sweet, you can put like a, kind of a Sprite or 7-Up and soda mix in there. Right, so it's sort of like a press sort of a thing. A Leaf Denise, for example, your Bahama recipe has banana flavor in it, but I have seen some Bahama Mom recipes without it. Yeah, no, those old ass videos of Leaf are super simple, not original. The tropicals are a whole set of videos that I need to reshoot because all those old ones are like old and need to give some of those proper recipes. I think I've done the Mai Tai. I think it's the only one, but the rest of them need to be reshot because they're not close enough to the original recipes. Banana, no, I got you. Ice Bound Magic, yeah, 2 ounces. So the alcohol amount per place can change. The style of mix, meaning like if it's like a fresh made hand squeezed one versus like one that comes out of a bottle. So yeah, recipes change drastically. Now you guys are throwing out all the questions. Johnny O'Bobble, am I saying that? Or is that Johnny O'Bobble? I have a full-time job. I like mixing drinks at home. Is it worth bartending on the weekends to make some extra cash? It might be difficult at first, but if you're really into it, eventually Johnny, I'm gonna call you Johnny. If hope that's right. After 6 to 12 months, hopefully you'll be in a position where you can start getting some good shifts. Or who knows? Depends on who you know, and you might get into a cool gig right away. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to make some extra cash. It's like an entertaining social job. So if you're looking to kind of step up your social game, it's a fun place to do it. Jake the Nut. Definitely depends on where you work. Yeah. Different places get more fancy. Luke O'Brien, do you use two hands often when pouring drinks? Yes, always. Good bartenders, if you go into a busy bar and watch those bartenders work, they're using two hands constantly. And you can use once you've done it for a little while and you get good at it, it's not like they have to be pouring booze. Like you can do booze, mix, garnish, napkin, fucking straw. Hopefully you're not using plastic straws if you don't have to. Whatever. Your both of your hands are always moving. You're never just standing there pouring with one hand. So you're always pouring with two hands. And pouring doesn't just mean bottles of alcohol. It means mix. It means garnishes. It means, accoutrement, like the fucking napkins and mixers or whatever. So, yes, definitely you got to get, you need to be ambidextrous in your bartending with both hands across the board, Luke, for sure. Have a good one too, buddy. I Spy Magic. Learn from my first month to do basic on here. Manager wants you to, not from your previous knowledge. Yeah, so some places will come in and they will definitely let you know, this is how we do it. This is our situation. This is our norm. And then you just kind of dovetail to that. There's not like a drastic reprogramming that has to happen anytime you go anywhere. But if you're a little bit more new, they might be a little more particular starting out. Joel C., do you think bartending causes divorces? Thinking about getting a second job and becoming a bartender. However, my spouse feels that some bartenders cheat and are more likely to cheat. What do you think? I don't think bartending causes divorces. I think that if you're in an unhappy situation and you have a tendency to cheat, that you're going to be tempted quite often. But if you're a good person in a good relationship and you have no interest in leaving or cheating on your spouse, then you'll be fine. I did this job for 15, 16 years and was with my now wife for 10 of those years and didn't cheat on her once, working in 3 different very busy bars, 2 different very busy bars over that time with plenty of opportunity had I wanted to. So no, bartending doesn't cause divorces. If if you're the type of person that's gonna do something like that, bartending is not gonna necessarily make you do it. Or if you have those tendencies, you're gonna have those tendencies whether you're a bartender or not. Is my point. If you have those tendencies and you're worried about it, then you should maybe check yourself. But otherwise, yeah, it's not like you can't get in there and not contain yourself. It's not like it's a raging Playboy Mansion party every night of the week or anything. Maybe some places, who knows, but not generally. If bartending is easy, why most establishments ask for experience instead of providing a good training period for newbies? That's a really good question, Alif. A little frustrating for inexperienced wannabe bartenders. Thank you for your answer, guys. Sorry, I don't mean to vent, just chatting with you guys. No, that's why we're here, buddy. Open question. Johnny Obama, you're very welcome. That is a great point, Alif. And really what it comes down to is that the owners of the establishments and the managers are, I don't want to say lazy, but time is money. And if you have to train somebody start to finish, it's a lot more difficult. As opposed to if somebody already has a little bit of experience, then it's just a matter of like, here's our menu, here's the computer, here's how we open and close and do tips and stuff. go, right? So that's kind of what they get with somebody that has a little bit of experience. Whereas if you're completely brand new, then, you know, you have to be careful with their scheduling because they won't be able to do busy shifts right away. You need to schedule them with other bartenders that can teach them in a right way, and it's just more labor intensive. That combined with it's so easy, especially if you run a good establishment, to be able to cherry pick your people that you hire because you have so many people coming in. Like good bars have people that come in and apply on a weekly, if not daily basis. So there's no shortage of people that are coming through the doors to try to get a job. The best thing you can do, Alif, if you're really having a hard time, and still to this day, the best way to get into this industry, if you have no experience, is be willing to start in other jobs. So look at other entry-level positions that you would want to do while you're learning. Busboy, barback is the best one, obviously. Host, food runners, even behind, you know, back of house like cooks and dishwashers or anything like that. But really you want to be front of the house. So a server, a host, a busboy, a barback, those are going to be your best ones. Bouncer even would be better than being in the kitchen because that way at the front of the house you're interacting with the management more and you get an opportunity to make your case on why you should be behind the bar. 25-year-old woman. Sorry, I don't know why I got the impression that you were. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Wish I was stronger, then I would start as a barback. Really don't want to be a server, but it's what it is. Yeah, well, and some places will, rightly so, not hire people if you can't lift 100 pounds, like over waist high or something like that, because you have to be able to move kegs off the ground onto racks, and kegs are really fucking dangerous. I've hurt my back a couple of times really bad in this industry moving kegs around. So they still are not supposed to discriminate. However, it happens all the time. So it's just one of those things. But as a barback, sometimes it's an issue, but you want to start other stuff. All right, anyway, there we go, guys. We're going to call it there. Thank you for coming in tonight and asking all these great questions. I appreciate it. Remember, we do these every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Tuesday night. That's West Coast United States Pacific time. So 7 Pacific Standard, 8 Mountain, 9 Central, 10 Eastern every Tuesday night for now. And make sure to follow on all the social medias at Bartending Pro, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. And that will do it for this week. Remember, get out there, kick some ass, drop some resumes, follow up. That is the best thing you can do to get a job, to get in this industry. Drop a resume, follow up once a week for a month, then every other week for another month, and then drop it down to like every 2 or 3 weeks or every, 2 to 4 weeks, no less than once a month, and keep following up. And get on that schedule until you can get 4 or 5 follow-ups, and I guarantee you'll have somebody give you a shot if you got a list of 20 or 30 places that you're going after. Sounds like a lot of work, and it is a lot of work. Getting a job can often be a full-time job. So if you really want it, that's really all you got to do. It doesn't really matter what you know, who you know. I mean, it matters who you know. It doesn't matter what you know or what your experience is. If you get out there and pound the pavement, you will find a job. Okay. Cody Barnett, sneaking a question. A 25-year-old fixing to graduate college student who wants to one day save up money to open a bar is wondering if it would be a good investment or should I look for another investment. Running bars and restaurants, they have a 95% failure rate after 5 years. And that's because they're really difficult. And a lot of times the best way that if you really want to own a bar or a restaurant, Cody, you should go work in the industry for the next 5 years to 10 years to figure it out. Don't open up a bar if you've never done it because you're going to have no idea what you're doing unless you just want to be the money guy and you partner with people that know what they're doing and they've done it for a really long time. And I don't want to be a downer, but it's just so many people jump into this industry and so many people lose their ass that it looks a lot easier than it is. And even bars that look like they're crushing it are oftentimes just getting by. So it's really hard industry to make a shitload of money at as an owner. So her whole life has worked in the food industry. I plan on being a money guy and have her run it. There you go. Then you can do it. But it's just like any other business. So you're a college student, so you know what's up. Do your homework on all the normal business stuff that you need to do with looking at your competition, looking what your customers and the market wants, and what your differentiators are, how you can market to get people through the door, all that kind of shit. Same standard stuff, top to bottom. But if you do your homework, you can do it. Right on. Limited dry county, which scares me. Huh. I don't know if I would open a bar in a dry county. But, because if you're just relying on food, your margins are a lot lower. Money is made in the bar. Once you can start selling hard alcohol, that's where your margins are. Vanessa Gill, does it help that I'm already a barista? Like with the speed and intensity of being a barista? Absolutely, that helps. It absolutely helps. Okay, guys, we're going to cut it off there. We'll see you next week, next Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. 7 o'clock, West Coast.